Once again, I'm introducing the lovely Vicki McLean. She is our guest today on the second episode of Navigating AI Like a Boss at 50 plus. She is a mother. She's a grandmother. Oh my God, what happened to all my notes? She's a mother. She's a grandmother. And you work with the visually impaired, I understand.
I
Right?
do. I do.
What I just don't want us to miss this wave, right? Um,
Right.
because so I don't know about where you live. Well, you live in Raleigh, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Raleigh, so Eastern North Carolina, believe it or not, there's still people who don't even have internet. There's still people who
Mm-hmm.
don't have email addresses or devices, and so
Mm-hmm.
um, and so not only that access. So we know that as we get older, our society doesn't really appreciate or honor um, our elders as some other cultures, right? So we kind of just
Yes.
like discard them, and which is kind of messed up because we're here on the backs of their work, right, and their efforts, and so then you have people who are full of knowledge, full of experience, full of gems, and it just dies with them, right? Or it
Yeah.
because they're inactive and they're isolated, they're not using
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
their mental faculties frequently. They decline quickly sometimes. So that's why this is a very important thing. And so
Yeah.
thank you for being our second person to be interviewed. And let me get into the questions here. Let's see.
Thank you for the invitation.
I didn't hear him say it again.
I said thank you for the
Oh,
invitation.
absolutely.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people in our
Can you hear me?
community are probably gonna be sick of me because I've been going around harassing everybody like, hey, can I interview you? So I just I don't know. God just put that in my spirit and it has taken on a whole nother thing, right? So Vicki, let me ask you.
Yeah.
So prior to where you are now, what was your predominant feeling or idea about either technology and AI?
I think I have always had a love for technology. Um, I back in the early 90s, I think I first received internet. I started subscribing to internet maybe in like 1990 or 91, um, back when we had dial-up internet. And so from there, I have progressed and have tried to keep up with the times, but somewhere I kind of fell off a little bit. But
Mm,
lately, I have heard a lot about digital marketing and AI, and that has reignited my passion for technology. So right now, I'm in the process of learning, but feeling a little overwhelmed because there's so much AI and so many things that AI can do,
mm-hmm.
and so many ways of using it, and so many tools and so many people teaching it that I get a little overwhelmed at this point as to where's the starting point, and
Mm-hmm.
also as I'm trying to find a place to jump in and start, where exactly do I want to go with it?
Exactly, exactly. That's true. Like, and we kind of laugh, like, because we're in
Mhm.
the community, the DCT community. And so for people who are not
Mhm.
familiar, D is
Mhm.
I call it a magical place.
Yes,
Full of,
very much so.
I would say full of Black excellence, although we have some other cousins there.
Mhm.
But it's mostly
Mhm.
Black excellence. And I mean, in every industry, every background, it's,
Mhm.
and because most of the people there are 40 and over, it's the least toxic place
Mhm.
that I've ever been online. And so you're talking about a community of 1,000, it's probably over 1,000 people now who are pretty active, all
Mhm. Yeah.
navigating this AI space. And usually the creativity or the art pulls people in because, oh, it's pretty, it's nice, oh, I like that. And then once you get sucked in, you realize this is a whole nother universe. I'm not gonna say world because it's bigger than
It
that,
is.
right? There's infinite
It is.
possibilities for this
Yes.
technology. Um, so I know we always talk about AI being new, but really it's not that new. It's just more mainstream right now,
Mhm.
right? Because
Mhm. Mhm.
companies and the government, it's been used, right? Biotech, it's
Mhm.
been used,
Mhm.
but it's just that the
Mhm.
the masses now have access, and it's the
Right.
barrier to entry is really is wide open. Really, I mean, you can do a lot of these
It
things
is.
for free, right? Okay,
Yes. Yes.
and that in and of itself is huge because I remember, oh gosh, I
Mhm.
remember the first laptop. Do you remember the first laptops that they came out with? Um, they were
I'm sure I do.
the one I had was it looked like, okay, it looked like a stack of a ream of legal size paper, kinda. So it was long and skinny.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You remember that?
And I remember them being so heavy.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I remember. Yes.
Yes. And I remember when I started college, I took that with me to school, and because I was fresh off the typewriter, okay? I had the, what you call it, the correction tape.
Yes, I remember. I remember all of that. Yes.
And that thing was heavy, but I didn't
Hmm.
I didn't have to go to the computer labs on campus
Yeah.
because I had technology. So, which was of course
Yes.
great for me. Felt a little bougie.
Hmm.
Where did you get your first computer?
um, I want to say, um, maybe 1990 or 91,
Uh huh.
maybe. But mine was a desktop. It wasn't, I don't remember my first laptop, but that was my first desktop, my
Okay.
first computer.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um.
And so, yeah, you're so right, and it's so funny to reminisce about this. I'm like, wow, has it really been that long ago?
Ooh.
But it has.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you remember? Oh, remember Y2K? Everyone was so freaked out. We thought the world was
Oh
gonna
yes,
end.
everyone was so afraid. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
And I can tell you, my initial ideas about AI was fear. There was a movie,
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember this, it's called Maximum Overdrive. I think it was Kurt Russell,
Mm.
where the machines just
Hmm.
kind of was like, oh, that's it, we're done. We're about to give y'all the smoke.
Right, right, right. Exactly,
And
exactly.
so even
You
now, in the
know.
back of my mind, and so, and it's funny because over the years, there'll be movies and TV shows
Hmm.
talking about AI and how they become sentient, right?
Hmm.
And then they just start going
Hmm.
ham, right? And So a part of me is kind of the conspiracy theorist of me, in me, is always thinking, what's going, can that really happen?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it
Mm-hmm.
could, but
Mm-hmm.
so that's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm always like, please and thank you.
Right, right,
'Cause
yes,
I
right,
want you to remember that
right,
I was okay
right,
in case it does happen. Um,
right.
so was there, was there ever a moment that you felt like resistance to AI?
I think I have always been so curious about, technology in general. So not so much. However, it's funny that you're saying all of this because I was talking with a really good girlfriend of mine recently, and she was telling me how um, she doesn't want to deal with AI. And she was saying how she feels that AI is going to, basically kind of what you're just saying, take over,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's going to push humans out of the way. And, and I was kind of telling her, I was like, well, do you know you're already dealing with AI? Do you know that you're already dealing, like when you call places, you have to talk to the
The
automated voices or whatever? Right. And like some of these spam calls that are calling you, you're already dealing with AI. And she's like, yeah, I know I am, but I don't want to deal with this anymore than I have to. And I guess my take on it is, I think with AI, for them to take over the world, somebody has to program them. Someone has to give them their knowledge. Someone is having to train them to do whatever. So if
Mhm.
they ever do take over the world, it's because we have trained them. So I think my take on it is that I want to know enough about them that if they get trained enough, maybe I can untrain them, or maybe I can outsmart them,
Mhm.
or whatever, because I know I can't avoid them, and I know that this is what it is. And it's funny, I have a little funny little thing to say about ChatGPT
Mhm.
that we all are depending so heavily on now. Someone told me about ChatGPT. I want to say it was in 2022. And so, of course, I'm not understanding the concept or how far reaching this could be or whatever. So I'm
Right.
just kind of like, what is this thing? Okay, whatever. Okay, Chat GPT. That was 2022.
Mhm.
And, you know, um, it wasn't, I guess, until like maybe the end of last year that I started to realize, oh my goodness, what all this thing can do. And now you're hearing almost everyone say, well, ask Chat GPT, or, ask it this, ask it that,
Yeah.
depend on it. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. In 2 years, basically, this thing went from kind of definitely an unknown to me,
Mhm.
to now it is something that I'm sure that I am on, if not every day, certainly most days.
Yes. So I'll tell you, I was in a choke. I think I started using ChatGPT about two years ago. Dabbled, a little
Okay.
bit here and there. I had created a couple of courses, just
Okay.
um, I never did anything with it. I think I was still kind of tweaking it, and then I got sidetracked. And the creative mind, we always see something shiny and new. We're like, oh, wait a minute, okay, I'll do that. So, and then when I started, so I picked it back up, probably November, December of last year. And
Mm.
that's when I found Misha and DCT,
Right, right.
and for me that time, I needed that. Like I say it all the time. People think it's
Mm,
funny, but
mhm,
I've been waiting for this my entire life, right?
mhm,
Have an abundance of ideas, an abundance of projects, an abundance of
mhm,
things,
mhm,
but
mhm, mhm.
always missing something, right? Part of it was
Right.
mindset, right? I didn't have
Mhm, mhm,
the right space to really fully
mhm,
use it, and
mhm.
also the mechanism to, execute, right? Um,
Right.
so I think for a lot of people, that's the gap, right? Like, okay, I
Yes.
got this idea, but okay, now what?
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can say for myself, DCT was very attractive to me. I know you mentioned art before, and um, I have to admit that I'm not an artist and I really don't have that artistic eye. However, through the technology side, and that's what I like about DCT because it could be attractive on different levels and in different ways. So for me, I came from that other direction. And, when I would see Misha on like TikTok and YouTube and see her different
Mm-hmm.
GPTs, and then I was like, oh my goodness, it could do this, it could do that. Oh, I would love to learn how to do that. How can I get there? And so that's what was attractive to me and drew me in. And I was like, oh, I've got to learn more about this. I got to find out more about this. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's how I ended up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that for me, like too, I have been asking or praying about having the opportunity to use my natural gifts and abilities to make a life for
Mm-hmm.
myself. So,
Mm-hmm.
approaching, it was 49 years old, had a heart attack. Well, got laid off, had a heart attack, was out of work for like almost a year, only to be
Mm-hmm.
laid off again after this federal
Mm-hmm.
funding situation,
Right.
right? So,
Okay.
because I think for a lot of people that may look like us, and others, growing up, um, being all the things that everybody tell you you should be, right? And what you should do, where you should go, the whole bit, right?
Yeah.
And you get a certain age, you're like, look, I'm tired. I want to do
Yeah.
this, and I reserve
Yeah.
the right to do that. You just got to figure
Yeah.
out how to do it.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so
That's
for
right.
DCT, it's just really changed my life. So I'm so glad. And I've met wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, creatives and technical people and coaches. I mean, this is so special to me because I see how this is going to change the financial trajectory of a lot of lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there's some statistic that says that by, I don't know, 2035 or 2053, that the black net worth is going to be zero. I was like,
Mm. Oh, no.
so, so then that makes me think about, like, my daughter is 9. I'm teaching her how to prompt already. So she's already obsessed with
Okay.
it. And so, but she's obsessed with video games. I'm wanting her to become a creator.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can do this too. And so that's why. So I kind of like on the both ends of the spectrum with the young people and then with our seniors, right? Because the young people can teach the seniors too, right? They can work
Yeah.
together. And
Yes.
so there's a lot of benefits to both, right? They get the
Yes.
benefit of the wisdom from our elders, and our elders benefit from the youth
Mm-hmm.
and the new information, and they have companionship, right? They're
Yeah.
not isolated. So that's one of the things. So I'm trying to stay on topic. So, um, to date, what's been your most exciting AI project?
Oh, wow. That's a hard one. Um, the most exciting AI project. Um, I would say, um, I would say still because I'm still wrestling with chat
Mm-hmm.
GPT. I've gotten much better, and DCT and Misha has helped me so much with my prompting and being able to get more of what I want, but also using those prompts in other areas, like with DALL-E, and using the prompts and using so because of Misha and and DCT, I am dabbling in art, something that's also new for me, because I never an artist or a person that was particularly interested in that. But now I'm seeing so many options and avenues for that, and so I'm dabbling in that as well. So maybe even that would be the most difficult, because it is the newest for me.
Yes.
Trying to get the pictures and kind of tweaking things to get as close to what I see in my brain.
Yes.
Trying to tweak my prompts as much as possible to get what I'm trying to recreate from my brain. Yes.
Yeah. So far, what seems to be your favorite app, your generator, or GPT?
Well, definitely, I believe that Chat and I are in a relationship right
Go
now. I
together
believe,
real
because as I
bad.
said, I believe Chad is my other half right now. Certainly talking. Like I said, if it's not every day, it's certainly most days, and for periods of time, I'm finding that I'm getting sucked in so deeply that it's hard for me to even stop, like to go to bed. So I'm finding that I'm getting less sleep, and I'm waking up tired and sleepy, because I don't want to quit, because I'm just enjoying it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I'm saying, so right now, um, I'm in the fundamentals level, and I'm just like wanting to work my way through all the different areas there, because I want to move up to accelerator, and honestly, if I can get there, I would love to be a certified AI consultant at some point.
Absolutely.
I am just really loving this.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I have FOMO sometimes. Like I really wanted to be in the advance, in the accelerator when I joined, but my coins was like, girl, no, start right here. Okay.
Yeah, same here.
So, but I mean, just the amount of information and
Yes, yes,
Nisha
yes.
gives for free with the other coaches,
Yes,
everybody gives for free. If you try to tally the value of that,
I know. Yes,
it would be way more than any of us could probably
I
afford,
agree.
right?
I agree. I agree. I agree with you. And and I have to say too, if it's okay to say this, that I have to give a little shout out to Hillman Talk, because that's what connected me to Misha.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and so when Hillman burst on the scene in January, and I was so excited about that. Oh my goodness, I can take all these courses. And then Misha was teaching her courses, and I was like, oh, my mind was blown with everything that she was giving us. And now she has incorporated that intro to Chat GPT into DCT, and you can actually get a certificate now for free. So so a plug, if it's okay to plug DCT,
Yeah.
to get that free certificate, and that's totally free. That intro to Chat GPT, that's what initially reeled me in, and I just kept watching her, and whenever she go on live, and you're so right, she gives so much information. She gives so much. And DCT has so much inside of it. So I just keep wanting to go deeper and deeper and deeper, So I'm totally hooked at this point.
Listen, I think so. I had when I first joined, of course, I had all these ideas, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna work on my herbal remedies book. Okay, so I started working on that. So the book itself, the content is
Mhm,
done, right?
mhm,
It's
mhm,
formatted in book
mhm,
chapter format, right?
mhm,
And so that was my first like major project. But then I was like, wait a minute. I could have been doing this lower hanging fruit to get, more. So for people who suffer from like what is it, imposter syndrome, procrastination, or just
mhm,
ADHD, you know,
Mm-hmm.
completion builds confidence, right? So,
Yes. Yeah.
but when your brain is used to just trying to eat the elephant,
And
like,
that's me as well.
you
That's
know,
me as well.
and
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
be like, this is taking
Yes.
forever. I
Exactly.
put that on ice for a little bit, and then I was like, oh, I'll make me a coloring book. But then the
Mm-hmm.
coloring book turned into so sometimes when you're working on things, especially in the AI space, because you can tweak and pivot so quickly, it literally was writing itself as I was doing it, right? It literally was just unfolding as I was
Yeah.
doing it. And then it turned into something I was just like, wow. Because
Mm-hmm.
in doing it, so I had to make all the coloring pages in ideogram,
Mm-hmm.
but I was okay, I'm pretty embarrassed to say this, but I think I stayed up 36 hours.
I hear you. No. Oh, I understand. I understand. I understand.
Because it's like, oh, wait, okay, let me tweak this one thing. Let me see what's going to give me back.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
you look up, it's another hour, and you're like, oh man.
Exactly. You're just going down the rabbit hole. Exactly.
Absolutely. And so, let me see, what's my next question I want to ask? So we talked about mentors and communities and courses that have helped you or sparked um,
Mm-hmm.
that creative spark, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
have you gotten into creating GPTs yet?
I'm not. That's the next thing that I want to do. I saw Misha do a live yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Was it yesterday? Maybe on that. And I'm totally hooked in. So, yes, I want to, you know what? Well, let me take that back because, in chat, there's an area where you can go to create GPT. So I, dabble with that a little bit, but I couldn't get it quite right. So I do want to, I absolutely want to learn how to do that because I love the GPTs that she has provided and how they do make life easier, how you can just ask it specific things and it already knows the processes and what to do. So
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Look, I had some lab work done, and because I'm a nerd, I always want to know
Hmm.
what they
Hmm.
say before I even talk to the doctor. So I said, oh,
Hmm.
let me upload this into ChatGPT and have it
Hmm.
explain it to me. And
Hmm.
so it analyzed it was
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know, about 10 reports, 10 tests, and then it analyzed them and broke it down in layman's terms. And
Oh,
it says,
wow.
well, I can do a list of questions for you to ask your doctor.
Oh,
it
wow. Oh, my
it
goodness.
set it up for me in markdown, like fashion, and I have questions now related to the specific thing, because in between I was like, okay, well, I want to know more about this. Should I be concerned about this? Is there anything I can do about that?
That
And
is
so it was
great.
saying, you want to ask your doctor about this since you're concerned about that. And I thought, maybe this could be a GPT, right?
Oh, it should be. That is a great idea. And I was just thinking how chat is just so more comprehensive than like trying to find something on Google
Mm-hmm.
or, something of that nature. And yeah, that is a great use. I think that would be an amazing GPT. And it's so needed because how many of us, have these exams, have these results, the doctors may go over something very briefly because they only have 5 minutes with us
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And the questions that we need to ask, we didn't think of them when we were in front of the
We think about
doctor,
them in the car
you
when we're
know.
leaving.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. But I will say that one concern I do have about AI and I would say chat specifically is who has our information? Where's the information going, stored? Who has access to
Mm-hmm.
it? I think about that sometimes, and sometimes that makes me not be as open with
Mm-hmm.
chat as I would be, I guess, with sensitive things sometimes,
Yes.
because I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if there's some database somewhere that one day someone could tap into, someone could sue, excuse me, to get the rights to or whatever. I don't know,
Yeah.
where's this information stored,
Well, so that's a huge concern for everybody, really.
Mhm.
I think that was
Mhm.
probably one of the big reasons why they were upset. That U.S. government was upset with China because it's kind of like the Wild Wild West right now.
Yes,
Everybody's
yes.
doing everything, and
Right.
um, now again, that conspiracy theorist in me, I just
Mm.
think that folks already have whatever they want to have on you anyway.
I agree. I agree.
That's
I
just
agree with
me,
that as well.
because
I do agree with that.
I'm just
I agree
like,
with that.
this technology. So, okay, I kind of feel
Okay.
like how things get rolled out to the general public is
Hmm.
whoever higher ups or powers that be has had it for 10 to
Yes,
20 years,
that's
right?
true. That's true. That's
Then
true.
it trickles down, and then we
Yeah.
get it. So, although it's new to us, it's kind of old,
It's
right?
been out for a long time, right?
Exactly. And
Hmm.
so, before we get hip to what's happening, it already done happened. It's done. It's over.
Exactly. And
So,
what I used to tell people is like, like I believe that we should try to secure our information as much as possible, but I do agree with you that anyone who really wants it already has it. And, and I kind of believe like there's probably a 10 or 12-year-old hacker, on their computer in their bedroom somewhere who's already hacked into information anyway. So, if they want your social security number or anything else about you, they already have the information if they really want it.
and so that's
So
that's
I
what
do agree with you.
so that's where
Mhm.
the whole conversation about ethics and AI, and
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
putting in safety
Mhm.
parameters, and so
Mhm.
that those concerns are addressed on a larger scale, because it is, because who's to say that because we're communicating with chat, it just there's not some type of back door into the other parts of our digital life,
Mhm.
right? And so there's movements out there to lessen your digital footprint, right?
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
it's kind of like you're walking in the woods and they tell you to take the branches and erase your tracks, kind of
Oh
like that
yes.
digitally, right? So there's
Mhm.
a lot of with any new and emerging technology or fields, there's going to be a lot of concern about,
Mhm.
doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and protecting people
Mhm.
for sure.
Right.
And especially as it relates to our kids, like, so our kids are so much more ingrained into they're
Yes.
plugged in, almost kind of like the Matrix, like they're plugged in already, like deeply.
That's right. They are.
And so I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how everything unfolds, because the world
It
is changing.
definitely.
Hmm.
Mhm. It definitely is. And I think like with our kids, especially, younger ones, they were born into this. This is all they know
Hmm.
versus those of like our generation and before, we knew before all of this. So, whatever we know, we had to like learn it versus being just born into this. And this is just what, the reality has always been. And I think that's what the younger generations, this is just what it has always been. I remember having a wake up call, and this has been many years ago, but my children first saw a typewriter when we went to one of the Smithsonian museums. And they saw a typewriter there. And that was their first time seeing a typewriter. And it was like, oh my goodness, are you serious? I was
Wait, wait,
kind of like,
wait. What about the rotary phone?
oh my goodness, yes. Do you remember those big floppy disks, like the 5-inch
Yes.
floppy disks that were really floppy? Oh
Hmm.
my goodness.
Yeah. And having to
But
keep
these younger
DOS.
generations,
Yes.
yeah, 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 they don't know anything about that.
Yeah. And we thought we was really doing something back then too.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Yep. So, so now tell me about the so your projects that you're working on with well, no, let me back up. I want to ask you about, have you seen ways that you can use this technology to help you with your 9 to 5?
Oh, absolutely. And I think even more importantly, I see ways that this is going to help me not be dependent on my 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
But, right. But as far as my 9 to 5 is concerned, excuse me. So, Um, as I've said before, I am a teacher of the visually impaired and an orientation and mobility specialist. And chat and chat is the one, of course, that I am using the most. And chat is such a resource because it can pull from so many other resources to kind of help keep up with things like newer technologies. Like if there is a situation that comes up, like, hey, GPT, act as a, whatever, and describe a situation and get some other perspectives on the situation, or chat act as, again, a teacher of the visually impaired, or whatever, and give me a list of other technologies that may be helpful in this specific situation, because my work is very specific to the students that I'm working with, because um, my students have, various eye conditions and various visual acuities. So everything is tailored to the specific student. So I can give chat those specifics and say, hey, what are some things that may be helpful, or, some other perspectives as how to look at this. Or even if there are some conditions or some things that I may not have heard of or whatever, I can get some perspectives on, how others have, worked with this situation or whatever. So chat is such a wealth of knowledge as far as what I'm doing. But as far as being able to move away from my 9 to 5, um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, chat has been able to help me with things such as, I do a morning motivation um, uh, talk, if you will, on TikTok in the mornings.
I
And
saw you
so,
this morning.
I'm sorry,
I saw you
I didn't
this
hear you.
morning.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Thank you so much for coming in. And so chat is very instrumental in helping me just with ideas and just new ways. Because, I try to do something a theme for each day. So like, today, moving mountains Monday, that sort of thing. And chat, really helps with that and help keeping those themes fresh and also help with the layout and the outline of some things that may resonate with my target audience and things of that nature. I've also have been creating some digital product
Mm-hmm.
such as ebooks and things, right? And yes, so I have an ebook. I have some journals and some things that, like you, they're mostly finished, but just need to have a little few finishing touches and tweaks and things, so things like that, chat can help me with. And chat also works with other things like Canva, like will give you ideas as in use these colors, use these fonts, or, even like things that I have been creating in Canva. I may ask, chat, what are fonts, that will complement this font? What are
Mm-hmm.
colors that will complement this color, these colors? What would be a great, scene for if I'm depicting, X,
Right.
Y, Z or whatever, things of that nature. So yes.
Yeah. I even made a board game. I
Oh,
it
wonderful.
there was another creator on TikTok that I follow, and she was going through something like with the DEI. She was a DEI consultant, and basically she lost
Mm.
80% of her business, and then was in a
Oh
car
my.
accident. But I wasn't in a position to support her monetarily, right? And so she had
Mm.
a product that she was selling, and it's called the Empathy Scorecard. And so I went to her website to see it. And I looked at her website. It was only two things on there. And I was like, she need more stuff. And so
Right.
immediately my brain is turning like, and literally I was like, this would be a great companion to a board game, right?
Mm.
So I had ChatGPT, I said, hey, could this be turned into a board game? And it literally it gave me the schematics, the design document, the font,
Oh,
and so
wonderful.
literally
Yes.
you can create a business in a box. All she would have to do is just upload it. So I created this for her. It was like my offering to her. But then
Wow.
I was like, ChatGPT, can you format it so it's a PLR that I could sell to other people? And so
Yes.
so it was a whole thing. And
See.
so it's that kind of thing that really gets me excited, right?
Yes.
It's, who's out here making board games just on a Tuesday?
Exactly. Well, see, but with these tools, you can do, I mean, the whole world has opened. You can do anything, things that were not possible, a few years ago. And especially if you didn't have like certain contact skills, abilities, all of those things, they were not possible. Those doors were closed. And now it's like someone just came through and flung all the doors open. Anything that you want, anything you can imagine, you can do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just such an exciting time. Like
It
I
is.
just I've probably been the happiest in the last
Yes.
with since December that I've
Yes.
been. I know at least 9 years.
I wonder what happened in December because that's when it started coming together for me as well. So yeah, so this past December.
Oh,
But yeah.
it's everything's going underground and slowing down,
Mhm.
so we have time
Mhm.
to think and allow things to kind of seep in.
Right.
And so now we're ready to execute because it's spring. Everybody's popping out, so we popping out with our new products. We popping out,
Right.
with
Right. Right. Right.
hmm and
And I'm just so, because all of my products so far have a faith-based theme.
mhm.
And so I'm very excited about getting the finishing touches, putting them, putting them in a store. But I'm also um, learning how to, once I have things together, how I can talk to people and let them know that, I have these products and that they are available, because I even have ideas for t-shirts as well. So yeah, so this has just opened a whole new world for me of
It has.
creativity.
I
Mm.
know, like, um, and I'm gonna ask you, what do you feel like your superpower is?
Um, You know, my superpower is love. It's easy for me to love people. That's just my gift. It is easy for me. And I have struggled with that a lot because I feel like I have felt in the past that other people had super powers that just seemed to be um, just so much more prestigious than mine or whatever. But then, I think, God has worked with me and helped me to accept myself. And, that is a big thing because, there are a lot of people who love does not come easily for them. But it comes easily for me, and it always has. So that's my superpower.
Hmm. And I had a friend that I always say, well, what are you good at? She's like, nothing. I don't think. And I was like,
That was
no,
me. That would be
there's
me.
something.
That was me.
But we are taught to look first outside
Yes.
of ourselves, and
Yes. Yes. Yes.
that
Yeah.
we're not important if we're not doing this grandiose. with you,
Exactly.
right?
Yes,
Your
yes,
mission on this planet may have been just to interact with one person.
yes.
It,
That's so
you
true.
know what I mean? Like it can be that small, but it can have such,
Mm,
like, I used to work for Job Corps in Atlanta.
mm,
I was a recruiter,
mm,
and some of the most heart wrenching cases and stories that you would ever want to hear. And so, always in the back of my mind, I would say, especially if I could not help the person, like they didn't qualify for the program, it
mm,
was important to me to give them another resource, because I don't know if they were on the
mm.
edge that day. Like if that,
Okay.
like, sometimes you're in a space of, I can't take not one more thing.
That's right. That's
And
right.
me saying no to them, I don't know if that was going to be the last straw for them. So I
That's right.
always try to put in place something, right? And, you know, so you just never know what people are in need of. And I'm
I
firm,
agree.
as I've gotten older and appreciate my superpower, I realize that it's not for everybody, because that
Mm,
wasn't your assignment. Your assignment
that's
wasn't
true.
for everybody.
That's true.
You had a specific assignment, and sometimes you won't even know that you've done it, or there'll be moments where you're like, oh, I know now why I was in this particular place
Mm-hmm.
at this particular
Mm-hmm.
time. I used to be an
Mm-hmm.
esthetician.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one day I really did not want to go to school. I was getting ready to finish. It was in our clinic days, so that's when we would see clients that come in off the street and get services, right? This
Mm-hmm.
particular day, I just was not feeling it, and questioning, well, why am I doing this? So 'cause I was grown when I went to school for that. So most of the people there
Mm-hmm.
were like out of high school. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had this one lady, so someone gave her a gift certificate. She got a facial and a back treatment. So when they get
Mm-hmm.
that combination, you start them on their stomach. And you do their
Okay.
back first. So now the whole time I'm grumbling in my head.
Right,
So
right. Yeah.
I started doing her back treatment, and she started crying. And I'm like, is she crying? I mean, she
Mm.
was bawling.
Oh.
And so I had to stop the service, and so, are you okay? Am I hurting you? Are you okay? She says, everything's fine. This is great. It's just no one touches me. She was
Oh.
married. She had like two sets of twins and like another child.
Mm.
So she was all things to all of these people, and no one interacted
Mm.
with her in that way. So just the
Right.
touching
Human touch.
is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people who they
That's
live by
right.
themselves, they don't have family.
That's
Like,
right. That's
so in
right.
that moment, all of that angst just
Right.
melted away. I said, okay,
Right.
God, I know why I'm here today.
That's
Right.
right. That's right. Yes.
And so I
That's
feel
right.
like people, if we kind of step back and reframe how we see
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, that the
Right.
technology can actually help us touch more
It
people,
does.
right?
It does. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
I'll tell you. So my superpower is, so I'm a connector as well as
Mm.
a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
connector, teacher, and coach.
Okay.
Been doing that my whole life, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
kid, and grown people coming to me telling me they problems. I'm like, child. But cause people used to tease me about it, and oh, you goody two shoe, you know too much, or why do you know that? And so I started to feel bad about the things that I,
Mm-hmm.
like, how when we met and we spoke,
Mm-hmm.
the instant I spoke to you, my brain was turning, because I was like, huh, who can I connect her to? I know someone that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we went through the process, right? And so that brings me joy, like, to know that when I interact with people, I literally download the information that they need in the
Mm-hmm.
moment and
Mm-hmm.
send
Mm-hmm.
it on their way, right? Right. 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 And so I'm just like, this is the thing I was waiting for, right? Because now it gives me the vehicle to do all the things, right? To be creative,
Yeah.
to touch people,
Yeah.
have passion projects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm tickled pink. So okay, so you have your journals and are
Yeah.
you teaching any classes?
Um, I haven't thought of teaching yet. I haven't gotten to that point yet. Right now I'm just still in the creative phase, just wanting to create products.
Okay, okay. Now you said you
Mhm.
got some t-shirt ideas. Um,
Yes.
are you gonna so you're gonna use the AI to create the images and then you're gonna um
Yes.
okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, look. And then I think Coach Jean is on here. Um,
Okay.
it's man, if there was one thing you could tell someone, one of your peers, um, and I'm gonna circle back in a second because I missed one important question, but I'm gonna circle back.
Okay.
If it was something that you could tell your peers who are still kind of on the fence about all this new stuff and
Mhm.
what would you
Mhm.
say to them?
I would tell them to begin slowly at their own pace, because I think they should address their fears. I don't think they should jump all the way in if they are, have concerns, but start slowly. I think chat definitely is a good place to start because you could use chat the way you use Google, or use chat for like recipes or whatever. I would like to make XYZ. We all are used to doing that. We all are used to, even like going to YouTube and looking up, a video for something or
Hmm.
whatever. So start where, you're comfortable
Hmm.
and then maybe build slowly and build up at your own pace. So that's what I would tell my peers.
Okay. All right. So for everybody who's watching, will you tell them your age?
Oh, of course. I am 54.
54. Okay.
Hmm.
So, and the reason why I'm saying that is because obviously our title is 50 plus, but I
Hmm.
want people to see that innovation does not have an age, right?
Hmm.
Being a trailblazer does not have an age,
Hmm.
right?
That's
Um,
true. That's true.
and that we are the forerunners, right? We are, and especially in our communities, you're probably the AI expert in your community, and you might be saying, I don't know that much, but you know way more than other people, right? And so that is the whole purpose of this series. And I wish you could feel how full my heart is now. Um, because remember when we spoke about being in the community and how you kind of was like you were there, but just a little
Right,
disconnected, right?
right. Yes,
So,
yes.
so how has that been since you've been kind of more connected to people?
I think that is great. I think I was really surprised about just how quickly you were able to connect me to someone. And it's like, oh yeah, well, we had these classes on Saturday. And, I was really shocked by that and the fact that she responded so quickly,
Mhm.
So, I mean, like literally, no lag time. And I wanted to say, if I may say, I just want to say real quickly too, I did not mention I talked about the GPTs and
Mhm.
building them, and I definitely want to do that. And I definitely want to, which I guess it goes hand in hand with that. Want to just dive deeper into, prompt engineering as well. I really, I have found a love for that. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely want to.
Um,
Hmm.
there's some free classes, some free certifications that Coach Ty had posted. Well, she did a live
Okay.
and she kind of walked everybody through them. Have you seen those? If
I
not,
have not.
uh,
No.
got your back. I'm gonna hook you up. I got you.
You. Thank you. Thank you. See that connection. See right there? That's what we're talking about right there. Just that God-given gift. You already just know how to do it.
And you know, especially with the way life is changing,
Yes.
we you think about like your New Year's resolution, and people ask you,
Mm,
well, what's your word for the year? What's you
mm,
know, and so what always is playing in the back of my mind is partnership,
yes.
because we are not going to be able to do it by ourselves.
True.
Our vision,
Mm,
sometimes our assignment needs other people,
right.
right?
That's
Some
true. Yes. Yes.
you can't build a skyscraper by yourself,
You cannot.
right? And so with part of that is the growth around being fearful that if I share this idea with someone, oh, they're gonna take it. But I'm a firm believer that
Mm,
if we say that we are made in the image and likeness of God, then
yes.
what is there lacking? God didn't lack
Exactly.
anything, right? Um,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
we all know whatever is truly meant to be for
That's
you,
what I was getting ready to say.
it's
Yep.
you.
It's yours. Yeah.
Even when things look like it's
Mm-hmm.
about to be destroyed, that is
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the protection, right?
Yep.
My
Yep.
daughter,
I agree.
when she was, I don't know, like 3 years old, and we went to the little apartment complex park, and
Mm,
she wanted to be on the swing. And so, how the swings were positioned, like, so there were the swings had the little rubber chips, and then there was like a pond with a fountain, and it was like
mm-hmm.
those wrought iron fences with the
Mm-hmm.
tires on top. So my back is facing the lake or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
push my daughter, but I had a flash in my, like an image popped into my head of her falling onto this
Mm-hmm.
thing. And
Okay.
of course I'm like, what am I thinking about that? 2 seconds after I saw that, because I was like, before, like when I saw, I said, make sure you're holding on really good. And then about 2 seconds after, she let go.
Oh
But
no.
where she let, so you know how the swing goes up, there's an apex, right? And then it
Right.
comes back down. So had she let go 2 seconds later than she did, she it would have been a whole nother story. And so I was
Mm,
like upset, and I'm crying, she crying, and I'm talking to God, I'm talking to like my ancestors. I'm like, y'all want to be recognized, y'all want us to. And what did I hear? That was the
yeah.
protection.
Right. Yes. Yes. That
So
was the protection. Right.
so we have to reframe how we look
Yes.
at our gifts, how we look at
That's
the
right.
resources that we
That's
have.
right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Like I
That's
joke with people, I
true.
say everything I create got three jobs.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a class, there's a workbook, maybe some
Mm-hmm.
cards, maybe
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
tote, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that it keeps moving, right? We're creating evergreen products. We're creating
Yeah.
things that can, like we said, create legacy, and
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, because like my daughter is very creative. She's very technologically
Mm.
tuned. So I know she's gonna be an innovator in her life. She already making doll clothes and stuff out of tape and
Wow.
paper clips and straws, and it look
Good
good.
for her. Good for her.
So
Yes.
we have to, and so that's why I show her what I'm doing, to kind of, she might not be interested today, but maybe tomorrow she's going to be interested in, so I want her to
Right.
write GPTs. I want, so I'm teaching her things
Exactly.
now, because I don't want her to go through the stress of being at somebody's job that I hate.
I so agree. And I think we also have to teach our children today different pathways than we were taught, different than necessarily the only way to go is to go to college and get a bunch of debt and, a bunch of college debt that you cannot pay off. You spend the rest of your life being under this, oppression. And there's so many ways to support yourself and to have freedom and to not have to be under someone else's thumb. Um, you don't have to wait until someone else tell you that you can have vacation. You don't have to wait for someone to say whether you're sick enough to be off work or
Right.
not. You don't have to worry about someone saying we're downsizing. So, okay, sorry, but your job is no longer available. Or your work performance or whatever, I don't like it. My nephew needs this job, so I'm gonna let you go because my nephew needs your position. All that kind of stuff. We're teaching our kids today that uh, they can be their own boss. They can have their own companies, corporations, whatever, they can do their own thing. So I think that's such an amazing lesson that, like when I was growing up, it was, you graduate from high school, either you're going to work or you're going to college,
Or the
just so
military.
stupid.
No.
Or the military. That's right. I forgot that. Or the military. Right, right. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it's crazy. I was just telling somebody the other day. I was like, I'm doing some genealogy work for our family reunion, and
Mhm.
I'm like, our people were business people.
Yes,
Yeah, they worked on the farm, but they took the stuff from the farm, the wares and the fruits from the
they
farm
did.
to the market, or
They
they
did.
put in clothes to wash, or
They
so.
did.
Why we have this weird obsession with thinking all you gotta do is have a 9 to 5 job is so bizarre to me. And how but now we're figuring out, okay,
Yep.
we need to do something different because a lot of
Yes.
the people who
Mm-hmm.
doing these trade jobs, they're getting
Right.
older. They now
Yeah.
they're gonna retire, but there is not
Yeah.
enough skilled people
So
to
true. So
take
true.
over these jobs.
So
So
true.
yes, there's the fear that technology is taking over, but there's also a deficit even in
There is.
because even if they automate some of the
That's right.
technical jobs, you still got to have a technician
You
to
do.
maintenance the
You
thing,
do. You
to
do.
to read the
You do.
schematics, to put the
You
codes
do.
in, to whatever, right?
You do. That's
So
right.
I think this is a great time to show people how to integrate technology into their lives and how it can help them on their jobs, how to get
That's
out of
right.
their jobs, and even for our senior population, how to get some extra income so you don't got to be over here at the Walmart talking to the
That's
crazy
right.
people over there.
That's right. That's
Um,
right.
and you
That's
know,
right.
because yeah, there's so much more you could be
That's
doing. You
right.
could be really enjoying this
That's
part of your
right.
life from the
That's
comfort of
right. Exactly. Because we all know that Social Security check is not enough. That pension check is not enough. And we all know that. And you're
Mhm.
right. You can have some skills where you can enjoy yourself and make money from your home. You can make money while you're sleeping, make money while you're on vacation.
Mhm.
You don't have to be at someone's job for a certain amount of money an hour.
Absolutely, because what were we talking about? I missed the call yesterday, but
Mm.
when you guys are talking about the amount of money that AI consultants charge for
Yes, yes,
speaking
yes. I
engagements,
was on that call. Yes, yes,
for writing a book, for teaching a
yes. Oh,
class, right?
yes,
And
yes.
but guess what? We do all those things already. We speak at church. We
Yep,
teach
we
Sunday
do.
school class.
We do. We
We do
do.
all this. We
We
write
do.
bulletins and programs for weddings and for
We do.
we do all the stuff
We
already,
do.
right?
We do. We do. We do. I was
Hmm.
doing a family newsletter for years in like the late 90s and early 2000s. But you're right. We don't look at it like that. We don't see it like that. You're right.
Hmm.
You're right.
So I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together,
So
and
have I.
Thank you so much. I mean, you're helping me complete one of my assignments.
Wonderful. I'm glad. Yeah.
um, Let me see. Are there any other words of wisdom?
I would just say to my peers, um, and those who are older and younger to, instead of being afraid, AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So I think the best thing that we can do is to learn it and learn how it works, because learning about something often helps us to come to term with our fears, because often what we fear is not what the reality is. And worst case scenario, even if that is what the reality is, don't you want to know the most that you can about your enemies, if that's going to be your enemy? So either way, we need to know as much as possible. So take baby steps, just small bites at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. Small bites at a time, and just take it from there.
Because look, if you put your head in the sand and act like it's not there, that don't mean it went away. It's just gonna be there
Exactly.
waiting.
It certainly will. And,
If
and, and worse yet, you won't know anything about it. So it has the advantage. So,
exactly,
hmm
sitting on the sidelines does not mean
hmm
sidestep the lesson.
exactly.
The lesson
Exactly.
is gonna be right where you
It's
left.
going to be right there. So either way, you have to face it. So
Absolutely, yes. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. And thank you for our DCT family, Coach Dean, Lula, Coach Rye. Where can people find you? I didn't get a chance. I was looking for your what you
I
call it?
know
Hold on a
I
second.
emailed you, but I emailed it late. I was rushing to get back home.
Look, I
So
got
you can
you though.
find
I got
me.
you though. Look.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, good. Wonderful. Look at you all. Look at you all. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I got
So you
you.
can find me on TikTok. And so on TikTok and on YouTube, I am Housecoat Grandma. And you can also find me on Facebook. So, but I'm mostly on TikTok and yeah, Housecoat Grandma,
Now,
because
do
I'm
you
a grandmother and I like to be comfortable.
listen? Look, I had to go take mine off, put some on more presentable because it's a cute house coat. So snaps, you gotta have the snaps.
That's right.
Um, do you have a online store that people can patronize?
I do not now. That's another project that I'm in the process of.
Hmm.
However, when I do have it set up, it will be connected to my TikTok
Okay.
House Coat Grandma.
Okay. And then, what if you give me some information later, I can probably update the description and put the links in there later,
Okay,
so that people watching the replay can find you.
that would be great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. We had a
I
time,
did.
and I'm so
We did.
sorry to
And thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate this.
absolutely. And I so hate that because I sent this out to a lot of people, and we just had a technical snafu, but that's okay. They're gonna get the replay.
Right?
So tomorrow, episode 3, we got the lovely Janice McKnight. Okay.
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
by then I would have worked out the kinks, I think. So everybody stay tuned. I love you. I can't wait to see you so I can hug your neck because you right down the street. Well, I'm in Connecticut right now, but you right down the street from me. So when I get back,
Yes.
um, Miss Vicki is in Raleigh. So we got, and then Rye recreated designs. That's Marie. Marie is in Chapel Hill. So we got a
Mhm.
gang. We got a little gang now, so we can
That's
get to.
right. That's right. The Carolina gang.
Thank you, Marie, for being our
Thank you.
moderator today. I really appreciate your help. She don't know that she like the co-producer. I can make whole new careers, okay?
I see.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. And thank you everyone
Sounds
for
good.
tuning in. Be on the lookout for our next episode. Good night.
Good night.